Hi Instagram, it's Q&A time. So ask me a question. Of course it is. When there are laws in place saying that I need to be wearing a mask to run my business, I will abide by those laws. But when I'm in a room by myself, then it's not necessary to wear a mask, so then I won't. I have strained and torn my pec before. It was a very minor belly tear, and the cure for this was to fix the technique in the bench press and start with really light weight and gradually increase my strength again. I would go straight to Hattie Boydell, who in my opinion is the best female bikini or fitness model coach in the world. It really depends on how fatigued the individual is. The more advanced athletes tend to know how to work a little bit harder and therefore fatigue a little bit harder. So they can take up to a week and that would suffice. But some people, 2 to 3 days is enough. That's a tough one. There's no single cue. It's a very complex movement, but let me give it a try. Stand in your comfortable jump stance. Grab the bar on the outside of your legs. Arms long, armpits to pelvis, crown of the head to the ceiling. Push the world away. Tennis elbow is lateral epicondylitis. Maybe that's not what you have. Maybe it is. Either way, you've got to figure out what it is that's causing that pain and stop doing that. I'm going to have to say probably, because we're in lockdown now and just hanging by myself. One company from you guys. Yes, I do own some cryptocurrencies and one of them is XRP. The most obvious answer is to master the bench press technique. And if you don't know what that is, swipe up and check out my free video tutorial on bench pressing. That's the way that I like to perform it, and it works very well. But apart from that, a great start point would be 20 sets on your pressing movement per week, not just horizontal, so vertical as well. Say 10 on horizontal, 10 on vertical. Split up in 2 sessions. I like doing that. You also need to train your upper body correctly and not just the bench press pattern. You need to be performing an equal amount of pushing to pulling to horizontal plane, such as a bench press and rows, to vertical plane, such as overhead movements. And I almost forgot, an equal amount of sets on the pulling pattern, rows, pull-ups, pull-downs. No, my next competition is October 3rd at Breakthrough Fitness. I know that Lasher has the tools for a 500 kilogram total. Whether he brings it on the day, that's another story. I definitely hope he does. Apart from the obvious answer, or my obvious answer, which is going to be Hafthor Bjornsson, who is the owner of the biggest deadlift ever performed by anyone in the world, 501 kilograms, I would have to say AJ Dirks and Tom Martin. The hand position that I use is index finger on the outer ring of the powerlifting bar. Then when I grab the barbell, I externally rotate my arm and the bar rests on where my pinky reaches the lower part of my hand there, which is the strongest part of the palm of the hand.
Yeah, they do. Of course they do. Everyone deserves a bit of love.
In my experience, the cramping in the mid-upper back occurs when people are unfamiliar with how to correctly use these muscles. So it happens to a lot of people when they're just starting out. So my recommendation is to keep on going.
My favorite belt that I use is 10 mils. That's what I recommend. I own a 13 mil as well, and I love that. So it's not as if that's bad. It's excellent also, but I just prefer the comfort of the 10 mil belt.
You could be right, but if you go into a bench press competition with that attitude, you may lose. The short answer is yes, but there's a lot more to this answer. See, hypertrophy training can make you strong. Strength training can also hypertrophy your muscles. So there are a lot of ways of doing things, but once again, your answer is yes. The simplest way to break through a plateau is probably better wording than recover from a plateau, is to train properly. However, learning how to train properly, that's not so simple. Yeah, bro, don't round your back on a deadlift. Squatting with wraps compared to sleeves is very different. Squatting with wraps is a skill. You need a lot of practice of that skill to get good at it. You also need a lot of practice to handle the pain around the knees because it hurts a lot. The only time I recommend squatting with knee wraps is if you are training for a knee wrapped squatting competition. if I never competed in knee wrap squatting, I probably would never use them ever. Sleeves are good enough. Well, I've done all sorts of exercises with it, and it hasn't changed in length or width since I was like 18. Used to get more boners for no reason though. But like, I'm 39 now. Like, I still get boners. They're not intentionally closed. They just appear to be because I've got a very heavy weight on my back and I'm holding my breath at the same time and I'm exerting force for a number of repetitions. And it's just what happens, unfortunately. It depends on the session. Most sessions I sit down for about half an hour and do nothing. I just think about life. And then I go and eat. Not much longer than this. It looks funny when it gets longer. Like, it's really straight hair. And it just, I don't know, it just doesn't just grow the way that I want a longer beard to grow. So this is it. This is it. I am into cars. I love cars. However, I just don't think that they are a very wise investment choice because they depreciate in value very quickly. Therefore, although I like them a lot, I just don't think it's wise to spend a lot of money on them. A cue that I prefer for deadlifting and squatting that I learned from Ed Cohen is to open your taint, which means open the hips, which not a lot of people understand. So therefore, when they don't understand, I choose different words, and that's one of my choices of words. Knees out.